project I wanted to show you today is I have to create a box, a wooden box. It's a memorial box for a family member, for a pet. Just a 7.5 by 5.5, and then it's going to be 3 3/4 tall. So to lay out the scenario here, I'm going to cut it all on my CNC router, and I only want to use a quarter inch bit with 3/4 inch flutes, so I can only cut 3/4 of an inch deep. And instead of I wanted to just get a big block of wood and cut the box out all in one piece, no joinery or anything, just a milled out box, and then put a lid on it. But I can't cut that deep, so I had to figure out a way to cut the pieces. What I want to do is cut pieces, glue them together, and have my box. And I know there's ways around that. I can get an extended cut quarter inch bit, but I just want to use what I've got, and for fun I just want to try it. So what I'm doing, I wanted to show the process and the way I did it. Disclaimer, I'm very basic at Fusion360. I do not know the lingo. I do not have an education in it. I just do what I need here in my little shop. So the terminology is probably going to be wrong for the things I described, so just take that in mind. And I just do it the way that I do it. So here we go. So what I did is I created the outside size of my box, and then I just extrude it to the height, which is 3 3/4. So there's my box. And now I want to hollow the box out, so I shell it. I use the shell command, and I select okay, this is face body. So I select the body. I don't know why it won't let me select the whole body. And I want 3/8 thick walls. So 0.375. Enter. And did it do it? I don't know. I don't know if it did or not, because usually it cuts the top out. But anyway, we're going to see what happens. So now I got a solid block of wood here that I need to split up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bottom and a top out of one piece. So what I need to do is I need to create my bottom, my very first piece that I'm going to cut on my CNC. So my bottom's going to be 3/8 thick, and then I'm going to pocket out 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is create an offset plane from the bottom, and I'm going to go up -0.375, which is the thickness of my bottom, and then I want to pocket out 3/4 of an inch. So then I'll do a plus -0.75, and that'll give me my total height of my bottom. And I'll hit OK, and that'll put me a offset plane there at that point. Now I can come in here and split body. I'll select the body, then I'll select that offset plane as the tool that I'm going to use to split the box, and I'll just hit OK. Now I have a body over here. I have two bodies. I have what's left of the top box and then the bottom. I'll move that down so you can see that, and we'll see if it split it and if it hollowed it out. And it did. So we've got a 3/8 inch thick bottom, 3/8 inch thick sides, and then we've got the hollowed out portion in the middle. after I hit OK, that I'm going to mill out. So there's my bottom, and I can flip this over and make that my top as well. So I'll have a bottom and a top. And then, so now I got to deal with the inside of this. I can, let's see, how thick is that? That is 1 1/8 thick. So the top's going to be 1 1/8. So we're going to make this next piece 3/4 of an inch, because I can cut 3/4 of an inch with my bit. So I'll do the same thing. I'll split the body, select that body, select my offset plane as the cutting tool. No, I got to create another offset plane. When you we'll create another offset plane from that plane. See, I don't know what I'm doing. I figure it out eventually. So I'll create another offset plane at -0.75. And then I'll split the body with that offset plane. And I'm sure there's a better way to do it, probably. This is just the way that I have found for me. I'll select my splitting tool, which is that. So now I have another 3/4 inch body. I'll move it down so I can kind of, so there's my body that I'm going to cut. Now, what I can do is, I really don't think I want an 1 1/8 thick lid. I don't think I really need that thick of a lid. I think 1 inch would be plenty. So what I'll probably do in the shop here is I'll cut 2 of these bottoms, use one of them for a top, but I'll cut a little bit off the face of it so it's not so thick, because that's a pretty thick top. So now I got a 3/4 inch piece. Now I'll create another offset plane. Let's see what happens. I'll create another offset plane. I suppose I could just move that plane. I really wouldn't need to. I don't know if I can move a plane. But anyway, I'm going to create an offset plane from that plane. Just like I did before, 3/4 of an inch, -0.75. And then I'm going to split that body. And I'm going to use the offset plane as my tool. Okay. Now I have another body here. Three-quarter inch. And then my top is going to end up being 1 1/8. I don't know if that'll be too thick for a top or not. How much of a inside does that have? That may be a little thick. I may have to cut that down a little bit. But in theory, we're going to say that we have the box. Here, these 3 pieces are going to create the box, and then this is going to be the lid. So now all I got to do, I'm going to hide the offset construction. So now all I got to do is cut these pieces. Instead of joining the corners and everything, it's all going to be eventually going to be one box, because I'll cut the bottom and the top. I'll cut 2 of these bottom pieces, and then I'll cut 1 of these and 1 of these, and I can glue these together to make my box. And then I'll have a top that I can use for the top. And all because I want to make it out of one piece, preferably the grain all running one direction all the way around the box. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do for my visual purposes is I'm going to move these bodies. I'm going to move them over here. And then I'm going to drop them down just for visual. This isn't symmetric or anything, I'm sure. I'll move this body. And then we'll take this one. Oop, wrong one. Why does it do that? Because I selected the wrong one. So I'll move the top over here. I'm also going to flip it so it's upside down as I'm machining it. In theory. So, in theory, we have 4 pieces. My bottom, which is this is actually going to be the bottom and the top, and my 2 center pieces. All because I don't have an extended cut 1/4 inch bit from my machine, and it's just I want to see if I can do it. And I just basically wanted to show you how I split the box in order to get the pieces, kind of like slicing for a 3D printer, but basically just done with the bodies. So now I'll just set this up, and I'll go in here also before I split it. I will put chamfers, because I like to, on the inside of my cuts, when I do an inside pocket like this, I like to accommodate the bit. So I've got a 1/4 inch bit slamming into that corner. I don't like to do that, and I might as well go ahead and select these others because they're going to be the same. I'll select all these inner corners where my bit's going to go in contact with. And this is, I'm going to cut 2 of the bottoms to get this, so we won't mess with that. But I'm going to make that a little bit bigger than the 1/8 inch radius that's going to be cut by the 1/4 inch bit. So that way, if I make it about 10 thousandths bigger, in my eyes, in theory, it will roll around the corner instead of jamming in on the X axis into the corner and then going to the Y axis. I kind of want it to roll that corner a little bit, and I know I can do that in the manufacturing tooling setup, but I just kind of like to have it natural to where it will roll that corner. So I'll set that at about at 130, let's say 135 thousandths. I don't know if 10 thousandths will be enough, but we're going to try it. So the inside radius is going to be for the bit to roll that corner. And then, of course, the outside, I'll put a 1/4 inch. I want to round them outside corners as well, just for aesthetics, for visual and feel. I like all the boxes to be rounded. I'm just that way. I always have been. I don't know why, but I just like everything that I make to be smooth to the touch. A lot of the stuff I make are stuff for kids, toys and such, and it's just nice to have a soft feel. And I'll make that 1/4 inch radius. Now, in theory, I should be able to cut this, 2 of these, one for the top and one for the bottom, and then take and cut these pieces and stack these pieces on top of each other and glue these 3 together, and then I'll have my box, and then I'll have my lid. So that's basically what I wanted the video to show, is basically how I split the box. And I'm sure there's better ways and faster ways, but this is the way I do it. And I thank you for watching. So have a good day.